I bought a Steam Deck OLED, and I've been having a lot of fun with it playing Flash games on it using the regular or original Flash player that was on the Discover App Store like for Steam Deck. I have been downloading games from the Flashpoint archive, but there is one Flash game with a particular interesting case I want to talk to you about, which is Newgrounds Rumble. Because every time I feel like playing a quick game and entertain myself, I pick up my Steam Deck and run NGR on it. It's fun, and I love it, but here's the thing. I've been playing an old version for a while, which is why there is a character missing from the new version, and there is a function missing, which is being able to play 4 players on Versus instead of just 2, which is the main focus for me because I want to have NGR as a potential casual party fighting game since the Steam Deck can be used as a console with different controllers plugged in or be paired with through Bluetooth. So I thought, well, why not just play the new version in that case? But there is another problem. I can't play Newgrounds Rumble on the original site because on SteamOS or Linux, the page is blank where I'm supposed to see the game. Usually, there is a spot where it tells me I have to play it using Newgrounds Player to run the original Flash game, but there is no Linux support for it. Even with Wine installed, a program that emulates or allows me to open or run Windows games or programs, the Newgrounds Player can't be installed on my end. I did find ways and even asked Mindchamber if I could just rip the Flash game file from the site, and I downloaded it with his permission straight up. Before I could add it to my Steam library, I tested the regular Flash player, only to be met with the main problem. The game uses an API connection in order to work. My assumption is that it does this to track the progress of the achievements on Newgrounds, but since the game is not being run on the original site but from a local Flash player, it won't fully load, so it also the same happens when I add the game on my library. So I did find out that the new version does work with the API function when it is run on a website by checking out other websites that just re-upload the game using the Ruffle extension, thanks Ruffle, to use Flash emulation to run the game, and it works just fine, but I can't, at this time, add this to my Steam library because it's on a website using an extension to emulate Flash to have the new version working. Overall and emphasis on because I'm not a programmer or an expert on this stuff, I would have to acquire a Flash version of the game with the API stuff taken off since it doesn't really need it. So I want to ask the original programmer of the game NegativeOne, or you if you're watching this, can we have a no API connection version of the newer version with the missing character and the 4-player feature as a separate download for the public or for me to add to my Steam Deck library? Pretty please? If not, and this can be too much for a silly and admittedly niche thing to do or for whatever reason, I'll understand and I'll keep trying to play the newer version through other means, like someone already mentioned that I can run this game on Ruffle on the site, which normally the game runs fine, but there are 1 or 2 bugs that can happen here and there, like on Pbot stage if you try to leave, the game gets softlocked no matter how you leave, which I am guessing is why for this one. They haven't automatically used Ruffled, but if I have any issues, I just boot up the old version without Fancy Pants and the 4-player feature, which is a shame, but I am still able to play the original game as intended. The reason why I want to use the original new version Flash game file is so that I can add it to my Steam Deck library so it is easier to access, and I can easily program multiple controllers using the integrated Steam input, which allows me to program different keyboard inputs on each controller. The Steam Deck has desktop mode and gaming mode, but on desktop mode, I disabled my controller Steam input, and I don't know how to turn it back on my separate controller lolololololololol. I am waiting for Steam support to get in contact with me about that one. But with Steam Gaming Mode, I can use Steam input on anything since it runs the games in their own spaces with their own controller profiles, making everything easier. I just want to have this image in my head become the reality of playing at a couch with my friends a Flash game like Newgrounds Rumble on 4 players on a console-like system and having a good time, even for just a little. Alright, that's what I wanted to talk about. Whether you see this or not, I still feel good about making this because I felt inspired enough to do it, and I have done it, so yeah. Have a nice day.